as sorry, let me
Oh my god. You have a podcast?
Daniel, compose yourself. Everybody stay calm!
I had a mental breakdown.
Little cheeky fuckers.
Am I dreaming? Because I can't see, I can't read.
Are the road Coral days behind us?
We're going to talk about Jose Antonio Francisco.
You are listening to the Quinn-tessentials podcast.
I've got my tea. I'm ready to go.
All right. Hello.
Hi, ladies.
How are we doing?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
Oh, it's Sunday morning. I think it's only nighttime in Shannon's room. It's very bright.
Yep, I'm living in the dark today. Yeah.
It gives her a little bit of mystery, where in the world is Shannon? So we took a bye week. I missed you guys.
I'm here. I'm ready to party. Today's the Super Bowl, and I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm excited for you, as you guys.
I'll just keep playing Harry Potter with my boyfriend and wait for the commercials to come out.
There you go. There you
That's
go.
a win-win, because I've been playing that game all weekend as well. And listen, I feel like I'm still stuck in a fantasy world right now. So I don't know what's real, what's not real.
Are we so excited? Also, I'm so excited for Rihanna.
Yes. Rihanna. Yes, I'm very excited. She's one of my favorites.
Oh, gosh. She's going to kill it. So we have lots to catch up on, but before we get into who this episode is about, let's talk a little bit about the man, Joseph. Yeah. He's had quite a bit happen. Nothing crazy. First and foremost, he was announced for Fan Expo Denver. So for our West Coast friends, West Coast, Midwest. What is Denver? Is Denver like the West Pacific Midwest?
Mountain. It's the mountain time frame.
It's the mountain time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's closer to the West. Anyways, whatever. Geography.
Our people in the mountains have a little bit of Joe.
I actually was pretty envious of that because I really, 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 I've never been to Denver. I've always wanted to go to Denver. I have plenty of friends that live in Denver. And after we, made the decision to go to Philly, we should have done. But that's okay. Another thing that came out was, a little bit of a photo. We got a little bit of photo action that came out recently. And it was him at dinner with Alex Wolff, a castmate of his. Is that a castmate?
Yep, he's in the movie with him. I did forget to mention, we also got confirmation that filming actually started midweek last week.
Ooh.
Because John Krasinski posted a few photos with the thing, and it said A Quiet Place on it. And I'm like, it's happening!
You just know that movie's going to blow up because this fandom is so loyal and we're just hungry to see more of him. And so whoever made the decision to cast him or even entertain his audition, I can't wait. It's going to be great.
It's going to be very exciting.
Oh, yeah. Have we ever talked about that? If he actually auditioned or was he selected?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Right? They're like, oh, we cast him. Okay. But did he go through the auditioning, at home filming auditions in his bedroom on Zoom, and then he just gets cast? You know what I mean? What is that man? Is he still auditioning, or did he go, I want him in this movie,
I think that everybody up to a certain point has to go through some type of audition process. There has to be I'm assuming so, at least, that roles like he's extremely talented and he had a massive breakout role and they probably requested that he audition. For example, I would assume that Pedro Pascal, let's talk about him. He's huge. He has a long history of filmography. And then when he did The Last of Us, they had dinner, they had a conversation, and then they called him later on that night after he had taken his Ambien and said, congratulations, you got the role.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm sure that we'll find out whether or not he had to audition or not for this role. I will say too, though, that it was almost like he campaigned a little bit to get this role too, because do you remember when he was Variety's top 10 actors to watch? And he kind of said that the next director he really wanted to work with was Michael Sarnowski. So I wonder if that had a little bit.
I feel like he knew he got the role because the way his face looked, the way he went I'm like, bitch, he knows. And then we found out like 2 weeks later.
Or it's his version of manifestation.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Because we are all manifesting queens here.
Trying.
Yeah.
And then one really cool thing that happened too was we got some photos of a play that he was in called Death Watch.
Mm-hmm.
And they are great photos. But I didn't know anything about this play. I know Danielle, did you have a synopsis?
Yeah. So it takes place in a jail cell. So the play is in one set, the whole duration of the play. It's based in 1947, takes place in a prison cell, and there's 3 prisoners. One of them is convicted for murder who is about to face the guillotine. The short play is entirely concerned with the interaction of these 3 young men, apart from their brief intervention of a shadowy figure called the Watch. And so as I was just reading that, a thought just popped into my head. The play is called The Death Watch. And if this shadowy figure called the Watch has been coming in, maybe it's kind of like the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, but there's a few pictures in particular that Shannon had sent us a video of, and I screenshot because just Joe's facial expression. I want to know in particular of these 2 photos that I found. I want to know the story behind those facial expressions because I want to know what's happening. So if anybody knows where to watch that play, let us know because I would love to watch that.
I want to know too. I love that these little plays keep popping up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we'll get to watch it or have some type of like sneak peek into what it was like to be in that or to watch it.
A lot of his plays are kind of hard to track down though.
Yeah, most plays are, I find. Yeah, we got really lucky with Mosquitoes because of the National Theater, but unless you buy a ticket and see it in person.
Right.
Pretty eventful couple weeks compared to what we've seen over the course of the last month or so. I can't wait. I'm actually really excited about this topic because this guy that we're talking about, drum roll please, Mr. Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy.
Thomas Shelby himself.
This man deserves to be talked about. Like, I feel like he doesn't get enough recognition for the work that he has come out with. Yeah. He is such a good actor, such a humble guy. He's been in so much stuff. I just feel like he's not talked about enough.
No,
we're just in the wrong circle, you know?
I completely agree. I remember seeing him for the first time in the movie Red Eye, which we'll get into his filmography a little later. But I remember thinking to myself back then, I mean, the movie came out, I think in like 2005, 2006. And I remember thinking, what a beautiful human. It was hard for me to accept that he turned out to be the villain in that because I was like so enamored by him. I mean, he's got these features that he has, in my opinion, a perfect blend of like feminine features and masculine features, you know?
Yeah.
The very high cheekbones, but then also like the incredibly defined jawline that kind of make him, I don't know how to describe it. I can't quite find a word for it.
I remember speaking to Laura about a video that I saw about a man basically trying to figure out what it is about Cillian that is attractive, because there are some women, a good amount of women, that maybe not find him attractive, but they're like, well, then there's a handful of people that do, and it's probably because, as you said, his features are so polarizing. You know, he has very high feminine like cheekbones, but yet still a very masculine jawline, very big light eyes, that it could be very polarizing for some people, and it might be why maybe he also can get the villain role a lot.
No, I completely agree. I think polarizing is a great word to describe him.
Yeah,
truly.
Definitely.
He's absolutely stunning, and he's got the most beautiful eyes. I did, though, speaking of his eyes, I want to show this. I want to play this because he was in an interview talking recently about an interaction he had with a lady, and it was so funny. Let me play this for you guys because I was cackling so hard today.
I could see this woman looking at me in the queue, and she was looking at me, and I know she's coming over. She came over. And she said, "Are you Cillian Murphy?" And I said, "I am, yeah, are you?" And she looked at me for a bit longer and she said, "Your eyes aren't even that blue."
I
He
don't
has
know.
very beautiful eyes. It is hard to find the exact word for his look, if you will, because it is very different of your typical conventional attractive man, in my opinion. I think the best word for me is he's just beautiful.
Beautiful.
Like,
I was just thinking the same thing.
yeah.
Like it's very mesmerizing when you look at him. It's almost impossible to look anywhere else when he's on screen.
Yeah.
Not just because of the way he looks, but also the way he carries himself in every role that he's been in. I mean, the way he carries himself in general, probably my favorite thing I've seen since we've decided to take time to make content to make this episode about him was the way he acts during interviews and press junkets. I mean, I have never seen somebody less interested in whatever people are asking or talking about. You know what I mean? I've watched a few of you go on YouTube or on TikTok, you look at Cillian Murphy, best interview moments. And I think probably the most overwhelming collection of interview moments is just how utterly uninterested he looks. He's just, yeah, exactly. That's what he looks like. Just completely dozed off. He makes his contribution to whatever the question is. And then he just dozes off, like silence. I mean, it's absolutely hilarious to watch. But I mean, he's got this like stoic almost energy to him, and I really appreciate it. And he's also very quick-witted. He was doing press with Jamie Dornan for Anthropoid, and I don't know, I feel like he's just roasted Jamie the whole time. But he always talks about like the banter between two Irishmen as it is.
I remember one in particular that he had an interview with Jamie Dornan, and he talk show host asked Jamie, you had mentioned that if acting doesn't work out, you can always fall back on to modeling. And so they pulled up a picture of Jamie in just underwear. And
love it.
He's like, so tell me about that. And then so Jamie looks over to Cillian and he's like, you've seen it. And he goes, yeah, I've seen it. Do I want to see it again? Absolutely not.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was pretty. He's very quick-witted. Yeah.
Yeah. Jamie had said something like, oh, we have something in common in that we both think I'm very funny. And then the interviewer goes, yeah, do you think he's funny? He goes, yeah, I found his performance funny. That's a very serious movie. Right? You've seen it, Shannon. Was it? It was pretty serious.
Yeah.
Like intense,
very
right?
heavy. Oh yeah.
I thought that was great. And then another thing that I've noticed, he wasn't in Dunkirk for a long time. I don't think any of us watched Dunkirk. I really wanted to watch it, but not for the right reasons, for the sake of this episode. But during the Dunkirk, like press releases and all of that, and then the Dunkirk premiere, a lot of people were asking him what it was like to work with Harry Styles, what his opinion of Harry Styles was, how devastated was he when Harry Styles had to cut his hair for the role. And I mean, you look at this man, and this is and I hate to say it this way, but he is in all reality a serious person. Maybe it's just that he's just like a shy person, but he's, very serious person. How are you asking him about Harry Styles and what he thought about Harry Styles cutting his hair? And in true Cillian Murphy fashion, he gave the most sarcastic response. He was like, "Oh, I was devastated. I'm still mourning." I mean,
he can't sleep now because Harry's hair is short.
Yeah, I mean, you could just see the devastation in Cillian's eyes. Anyways, I thought that was great.
That kind of reminds me of how during the Stranger Things press junkets, everybody asked all of the other co-stars questions about Joe.
Yeah. Or like, it was questions about Joe's hair versus Eddie's hair, or Eddie's hair versus Steve's hair. Wow, I forgot Steve's name. Don't tell
the internet.
Don't tell the internet.
It's okay. I shock the internet when I tell them I'm not even interested in Joe Keery, and they're like, "How?"
Well,
Same thing.
I get the appeal. I get the appeal of Joe Keery, but I get the appeal of Joe Keery as Steve more than Joe Keery. I hate to say that.
I think, ladies, we should stop while we're ahead. We're gonna make some people angry. And cut. I love how we're getting into different topics that we're not all going to agree on at any given moment. I think it's a good thing to have them hear stuff like that.
Shannon, I understand that you brought games.
Yes, so it's pretty simple. Okay. I have some facts
about Cillian Murphy. And you guys just have to determine if what I'm reading is true or false. Simple as that.
Okay.
So if you guys have done some research on him, then hopefully this will be easy. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I don't know that I'm going to do that great, but that's okay. Let's do it.
It's okay. Either way, we can learn, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Question number 1. Cillian has been married twice.
Ooh.
False.
What's your answer, Laura?
I'm going to go true.
False.
What? Just the one time?
His wife is Yvonne McGinnis, met in 1996 and married in 2004. Since.
Wow.
They have 2 really
A
cute kids
dedicated
together, and they look just like Cillian.
Really?
Oh.
How old are his kids?
I don't think I saw a recent picture, but they
Like
were
20.
younger and they look just like little baby Cillians walking around.
One of the kids' names is like Malachi, and I think someone in a video said Malachi, and I was like,
No.
Malachi.
Malachi? Really,
That's
bro?
offensive as hell, dude. Yeah, Aaron and Malachi. Wow, they're cute kids.
You guys, I just realized that movie I saw. Remember the chick he was having an affair with? Her name was Yvonne.
Oh, really?
I wonder if that gave him like a complex.
I was just like, that's his wife's name. How weird is that?
That's my mom's name.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
Next question. Cillian has 2 kids and haven't seen much of his work.
His kids haven't seen much of his work.
Right.
I think that's true. I think he gives me like Johnny Depp circa 1990 vibes, you know what I mean? Like cool, but like Johnny Depp doesn't watch his movies either, and he's very private.
yeah.
I don't think he's seen much of his own work, or his kids has seen any of his work. So I'm gonna go with that's true.
Okay, yes, true. He has 2 sons. He states most of what I do is highly unsuitable for them. They're suitably underwhelmed by my work.
Oh. Wow.
That's so funny.
Jeez, Dad, you're so embarrassing.
He's a movie actor.
Can you imagine? I've always thought about that, how you can, I don't know, grow up in a family where your parents are so famous, where they're actors, and people are just constantly living in the shadow of your parent like that. Like that's kind of wild. But I have a feeling like he has much more humble like upbringings for his kids. I don't know. That's just the vibe that I get from him. What a cool guy.
Okay. Number 3. The spelling of Cillian's name has grew in popularity alongside the growth of his career.
True.
That wording is weird. Sorry.
Sure. That sounds about right. That sounds true. Where did you find that information?
It was online. It just said the actual spelling, because a lot of the time when people think of Cillian, they think with a K, but the spelling of Cillian with a C grew in popularity as when he did as well. So
more people were named Cillian with a C since he's become famous.
Yes.
Look at that.
Huh.
I wonder how many people missay his name and just say Cillian Murphy.
Cillian.
I didn't even know until we started talking about him. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like such a dummy.
I can tell you that I hear people on TikTok say Cillian, and it's like nails on a chalkboard. Cillian Murphy did this, and I'm just like, no, that's not his fucking name.
Okay, so fun fact, Cillian had a band and the name was called Sons of Mr. Green Jeans, or Sons of Mr. Green Jeans.
Watch this be false, and it's like true except for like Mr. Blue Jeans.
No, I feel like this is true.
He's definitely a musical person. I know that for a fact because I feel like I heard about this in an interview of his.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't
with Jamie Dornan.
I don't know about the name of the band.
Yeah, it's a toughie. I didn't even know this about him until I started, looking into him more. But I almost made this
a trick question.
Yes, I did. But then I said, you know what? No, I will just make it true. That is the name of the band. It is inspired by a Frank Zappa song.
What's it called?
Sons of Mr. Green Jeans.
Well,
I wonder if they got that because green genes, like Irish green, and it's in their genes, like in their blood. I wonder if that's like why they resonated with them.
It makes me think of green beans.
Oh my
I'm sorry, that was so funny.
First of all, if you go on YouTube,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play his music. Like a little snippet of it.
Because Frank
Oh
Zappa's kind
no.
of wild.
Oh no. Hold on. Oh
Who
my, I'm
needs
gonna start
who needs music when we can see Laura's facial expressions?
Look at his face.
Oh, here we go.
I
I know he's a
yeah.
baby. Oh,
can't hear anything, but he sure is.
You can't hear it?
Mm-mm.
look, his hair looks so red in that lighting. Holy crap.
It does, doesn't it? Hold on,
Yeah.
let me
Look at
see.
that jawline.
That's
Oof.
what I'm saying.
We'll just tell everyone at home, go listen to Sons of Mr. Green Jeans.
Yeah, go look at the interviews.
Sons
that
of
he
Mr. Green
does.
Beans.
The interviews are very entertaining. It's amazing how thick his accent, how much thicker his accent was in these interviews.
Mm-hmm. This was mid-90s, y'all. This is a long time ago.
I'm gonna send you guys the link to this because the way he sounds is like music to my fucking ears. I tell you what.
Okay.
Yeah. So go listen to a Son of Mr. Son of Mr. Green Jeans, but not Jeans. Jenes.
Genes like DNA. Yeah.
Got it. See, that's where I went wrong.
I have 100% so far, Laura.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I should have been tallying. Sorry. I should have, instead of just reading.
Just go fuck myself then.
Someone's keeping score.
I'm just here for entertainment. I'm not here
1 to 3.
I'm not here to bring any value other than just to keep the ball rolling. So
We're just here to add to the room.
Take up space.
All right. Okay, so we're halfway there. Number 5. Cillian is partial towards his Peaky Blinders haircut.
Yes.
False.
I think so.
True. He is more recognizable with the haircut. When his hair is grown out, he says he can get the bus without being bothered.
Wait,
so when he has the Peaky Blinders haircut, he gets recognized more, and it's kind of irritating for him because he leads such a normal life. But when he doesn't have the haircut and it's grown out, he doesn't get recognized as much. So it makes it easier for him. So that's why he's partial about the haircut.
Partial, I thought meant impartial. Okay.
Oh, I meant partial. I'm sorry. So if you originally thought that, that he
liked his hair, I thought he liked his haircut.
Oh, partial meant like mixed feelings, like.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah. I remember an article or a video he did, I'm sorry, where he said the hardest part about that haircut is in between seasons, he would let his hair grow out, and he goes through a weird phase where it's just like like it sticks out on the sides.
That's my boyfriend's hair. It just becomes this fro on the side. Okay, let's see. Ooh, this is a good one. Cillian didn't make a TV appearance on a talk show until 2019 on the Late Late Show in Ireland.
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say it's true.
I'm going to agree.
It is true. Isn't that crazy?
Tis true.
It was a late, late show in Ireland. So he hasn't been on any other talk shows ever?
Well, not since before then. Yeah.
I wonder if he's been on Graham Norton.
But when I think about it, like if I'm looking like back on like my own memory, because I would watch a lot of late night TV and I don't ever remember ever seeing Cillian on late night talk shows. But yeah, Graham Norton, I feel like he would do really well, but unless he's doing a press junket or something,
Okay, so he's been on with Seth Meyers.
When was that?
2021.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 21.
Making sure I'm not lying with my
No. You're doing great. Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like he 100% must have gone on the Graham Norton show. Maybe I'm pulling this out of my arse.
Maybe they want talkative celebrities on Graham Norton. He was just going to sit there and be like,
I don't think he's been on Graham Norton. But anyways, I digress. Continue.
Okay. I think these next couple might be easy, but Next one is Cillian carefully chooses his acting gigs to not uproot his family or make things complicated.
100%.
True. Yeah.
150%.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely true.
Absolutely.
Next one. Cillian appears as a DJ on BBC Radio. Yeah, that's the end of the sentence. Sorry. I don't know why I said it like that. Cillian appears as a DJ on BBC Radio.
No.
False.
That actually was true. BBC Radio 6 Music, to be exact. Like, it's the actual channel.
Huh.
What?
Now you know.
He may not be a regular, but I'm sure maybe he's on it, when he can.
Hold on. Hold the fucking phone.
Laura, the fact checker. All right.
No, I mean, this is so cool to me. I'm sitting here and I'm like, that's wild. Yeah. Shannon, we're learning so much about him. I wonder how he and his wife met. I really appreciate the idea of like being with somebody for that long and just maintaining like consistency,
That info's out there, but I didn't go into that. But that info's out there. I think he mentioned it maybe, like how they met, but I don't remember.
Sorry, I just got like so blown away by this picture of him. It's this very like I'm going to share my screen again.
Yes, please.
I'm going to share my screen again. I'm not going to I'm not going to do it justice. Truly. Look at this.
Oh,
look at that. I mean, it's giving jawline, the eye, the haircut.
I'm personally a fan of the one to the left with
This
his
one?
hand in his jaw. No, to the one that you had highlighted to the left.
to the right down, left,
Like this way.
left. So the one you have
I don't even
Laura,
know where you have your mouse.
Laura, where you clicked on that on the big screen, go to the one to the left of it. No, go left.
I am going. This is my left.
Now go down.
Okay, down.
Oh, this
right
one.
there. Oh, yes. There's Waldo.
I promise I'm doing fine.
I just I don't know how else to explain where to go. Damn.
I need to point something out about him. There is not a single feature on his face that people haven't paid thousands of dollars to inject into their face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, the jawline, the chin, the cheeks, the lips.
Maybe she's going with it.
That nose is like almost perfect. Anyways, I digress from this. I'm like gushing way too much. But anyways.
This is the time to do it though on the podcast.
This is the time to do it.
We've got 2 more questions and then be set.
Wrap it up. Let's go, baby.
Wrap it up.
Let me stop sharing my screen. There you go. Continue.
So, number 9, Cillian knows 3 languages.
True.
Okay. I'm going to say English, Spanish, and French.
I'm going to say English, Portuguese,
and Italian.
And Japanese.
Japanese is,
It's kind of a trick question. False. He knows 4 languages.
Oh, fuck right off.
And it's not, get real simple with the languages. Where is he from?
So
Irish?
Gaelic.
English.
English. What's the other one that's like, what country is he from or area?
French. I don't know.
Northern
Geography
Irish.
is hard.
So Gaelic and Irish are separate languages. So he knows both of those, English, and his mom taught French. So he knows French.
So no Portuguese or Japanese. Got it.
I'm sorry, Danielle.
It's okay.
This is what happens.
That'd be really
when you start
impressive,
bragging that you were at 100% way early in the game. Anyways,
this last one, I really liked learning this fact. I thought it was interesting. So, Cillian smoked 1,000 cigarettes in a single season of Peaky Blinders.
Yes,
that is very true.
Yes,
100%.
Yeah,
true. They were
Moved on
herbal
to something
cigarettes.
herbal.
Yeah, and they were nicotine and carcinogen free. So he didn't give himself cancer by smoking all those cigarettes.
I feel like that would be harder to maintain than actually smoking cigarettes. Like, I wonder how strong those herbal cigarettes were, because I've had herbal cigarettes before and they hurt the throat.
Oh, that's right. Because the cigarettes have that product to numb the throat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very harsh.
Yeah, like you're still putting smoke in your body, you know?
Mhm.
So,
That's a lot of cigarettes. Woof.
well, now that we've kind of touched on all of this, why don't
7
we,
to 5.
huh?
7
The
to
score.
5.
Did you keep track the whole time?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I certainly didn't. I should have.
I'm proud. I'm proud. Good for you. Thanks, Dee. Congratulations. You win a photo op with Joseph Quinn in June.
And I have to pay for it. I love that. Thank you. Thanks, me.
Anyways, all right, let's get into filmography. Woo!
Let's do it.
This took us a little bit longer, right, to watch a lot because he's been around for a long time. I mean, not as long as, some of the other people that we have lined up, but certainly a lot of filmography. I'm on his IMDb right now as we speak.
Yeah.
I just also realized he was in Cold Mountain
with
Nicole Kidman and
and
Yeah.
Renee Zellweger and Jude Law.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he was in there for very long because he's not even top billed cast. But yeah, we watched quite a bit of stuff. And then I also made a list of some of the things that we didn't watch that we have a lot of, at least I have a lot of interest in watching. Shannon had expressed some interest in watching too. But I think the first thing I personally saw him in was Red Eye.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. That was with Rachel McAdams, who had just come off of the high of being both in The Notebook and in Mean Girls as Regina George. And I remember being just so completely devastated when he turned out to be the villain. You see a handsome guy and you just hope for that like redemption. You're like, maybe things will turn around.
Yeah, exactly. But he plays such a good villain though. It's like spot on.
It was like a sexy / terrifying villain. It was amazing to see how he weaved in and out of like approachable, friendly role to like just the most terrifying villain. I mean, yeah. What did you guys think?
Go ahead, Shannon, because I'm still gathering my thoughts. Thinking about this handsome being.
Well, yeah, I mean, he put on the mask for her to get her to trusting him, and then he later admitted to be stalking her, so he knew her patterns, he knew where her dad lived and her job, how important it was, even down to her favorite mixed drink. Like, spoilers! Did not bring her down. What you said, Laura, from the beginning, of course, him being a really nice guy to then being a villain, he had to constantly keep slipping the mask back on because they're on a plane filled with people. It's like, how did he hold someone hostage in this tiny little cabin corner, yet still like, oh yeah, I'll help you put your suitcase up here. Oh yeah, no problem. And slam her head against the freaking plane wall and, oh no, she's asleep. Yeah, no, she's great. Thank you so much. Like, that was so great. I'm so glad that she was able to redeem herself, because it was revealed that she had already been in a really tough situation, and she's like, I'm never letting this happen to me again. And the way she got out of it was so clever, so good. It's like, I wish I could do that. If something weird like that ever happened to me, that I could go in and save me, save my dad, save the family, all that. I love
it really is such a feminism forward movie too altogether, But see, I thought there were like little bits about his performance that were really great. At the beginning, you see a little bit of that like intimidating persona come out whenever they're waiting for their flight, to take off. So, and there's the guy's being a complete asshole, one of the, cameo extra roles. He's being a complete asshole, and you can see that intimidating persona come out during that beginning. And so you get a little bit of foreshadowing there in his role. But I will say, as it relates to her character, it's amazing to see how, having been in her situation before, knowing how the movie ends, you can see that it takes a lot for her to even trust him, because even as he guesses what her drink is, she kind of changes it a little bit, right? And she's like, can I get a Bay Breeze instead of the Sea Breeze that he's been watching her get for weeks or months at a time? So
right.
Another role that we had seen him in was in the Batman series as the Scarecrow.
Yes.
I haven't seen that too recently. I know, Danielle, you watched it. What was that like? Tell me about his role.
So he was playing a character that was a psychiatrist that was going in and speaking with a lot of the criminals that had been arrested for the heavy crime that goes on in Gotham City. And there's a drug lord mafia man within the city right now, and he was actually working for him and winning the cases in trial to bring them to his own asylum to treat them. But where in reality, he's been putting on the scarecrow mask as part of his therapy and giving them this like fear-inducing vapor that goes into their nose, and they just go into complete hysteria, and that's how they would get them to come to his asylum. So he was kind of creating an army for this mafia boss. And so long story short, he was so creepy in like towards the middle of the movie, the switch flips, and he becomes his true like cryptic, scary, like vague answering villain, really. And he's like, the Batman's here, and like it's a wild ride. But then they base the next two movies off of fear, which is what he causes, and that's when Bane and all the other characters come into play.
I remember watching it and thinking the same thing where, you know, and again, it's that same sort of role where like you see him and you think he's going to be trustworthy, and then he flips the switch. I definitely want to watch that again.
Yeah, a few of the movies I watched, Shannon had made a comment that he puts on a mask. And even with this movie, you could see him having to decide on if he wanted to be this psychiatrist that everybody knows, or if he needs to physically put on his mask and become this terrifying entity that is inducing fear and hysteria. And he had to be very meticulous as to when and where and how he was going to cause this havoc that he's ensuing all over the city. In the end of it, he never dies. So there's still rumors out there that at some point he may pop back up in another Batman movie.
In like a multiverse?
Maybe.
Kind of like what they did with Spider-Man No Way Home. I would love to see a DC multiverse with like a blend of like villains.
Amazing.
Yeah. Right?
Speaking of multiverse, wouldn't he be a fantastic Riddler?
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
I feel like all Riddlers have been like, I mean, when I think of Riddler, I think of Jim Carrey, and it's too goofy. I feel like he would be a really good, sinister, even sarcastic like Riddler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
look, we're still at it, guys. We're still making money moves with our boys that we talk about on a monthly basis.
Fan casting. I know.
We're just waiting for that phone call.
Hired as a casting director.
God, we'd be so good at it.
So I want to talk about one of the more popular movies that he's been in, kind of like a staple movie, right? In its own category of films, and that's 28 Days Later. I have a confession to make.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't either.
You haven't either?
No.
Okay, well then I saw it.
I haven't seen it. I believe this is the first movie where zombies were like rabid, like
yeah. Can I just tell you, I saw it like a long time ago before the zombie trend hit us full force. Yeah. So I went into it knowing like the premise of the movie. But when I tell you the fear that overtook my body, when I remembered that these zombies could run at a full ass sprint, I was like, I'm done for. If I was in this world, I would be dead lickety split. They're not just running, they're jumping and scaling buildings and busting through windows at such a fast rate. I'm screwed. It's truly terrifying.
I think that you've nailed it, right? Like that in and of itself has added an entire element that, you know, you didn't really see. Like you have The Walking Dead, and The Walking Dead kind of reverts back to like your traditional zombies. But I love it because it opened up this whole nother world of possibilities. Like, did you ever watch World War Z with Brad Pitt?
Yes.
Like how they would like run over each other.
Yes.
And
it's like I have
Dawn of the Dead too. They're like that. They run.
Yeah, I have this whole
I think it was Dawn of the Dead. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. But like everybody has a plan for if the zombie apocalypse happens, right? I have a plan. Do you not have a plan?
Excuse me?
I have a plan.
When I worked at Hot Topic and I was reading the manual for when I became a key holder, they had a plan for a zombie apocalypse if it happened while you were working. In their manual.
I love it.
100%.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm screwed. I will
But
be one
like,
of the
if
first to go.
I only plan for like Shaun of the Dead zombies and The Walking Dead. Okay, my plan has to be completely shelved if we get 28 Days Later, World War Z. But this movie starts off testing something on like apes, like gorillas, and
As it does. Normally it starts with an animal.
yes. And this animal rights activist group comes in and they want to free these animals.
Mhm.
A scientist comes in and he's like, listen, look, like you've got to go. Like, this ain't it. Like, you don't want these animals. Like, just trust me, leave them in their cages. Okay. And they're like, shut up, blah, blah, blah. And he opens up one of the cages and this monkey just full on attacks this lady. And then the guy's like, you have to kill it. You have to kill her. You have to kill her. Okay. Like the woman. And they're like, we're not going to kill her. It's fine. And he's like, no, you don't understand. We're testing this huge virus that has hit that is spawned through blood. And if it enters your body at any point, like if you get cut and the other person's blood hits you, you're infected. If this animal bites you and their blood gets into your bloodstream, you're infected. Like, she's been hurt by this animal. You have to kill her. Like, stop it, kill it. It's contained. And then the movie cuts. Whoosh, like that scene's done. So you're like, okay, so there's this infection. So his character is a courier and he was delivering something on bicycle. He got hit by a car, got rushed to the hospital, and he was in a coma.
Sounds like The Walking Dead. What the hell?
Yep, I know. They're the beginning of this, very similar. So while he's in said coma, all hell is breaking loose because they didn't kill the monkey. And the caveat of this disease is once you get infected, you're going to be infected in 20 seconds.
20 seconds?
That's
20
fast.
seconds.
Gosh.
So he wakes up, first off,
28 days later from
28 days later. 28 days later, he wakes up from his coma. Hospital is completely empty. No one is there. Clearly something has happened. And so the first 20 minutes of the movie is him just walking around London and it's completely deserted. Buses are flipped over. Buildings are messed up. It's wild. And he meets up with a man and a woman, Serena and Chad, I want to say is his name. And they're explaining everything to him. And he's like, this can't be happening. I have to go. I have to go meet up with my family. And they're like, dude, no, like it's rough out there. Like, just trust me. So yeah, I don't want to give away too much for the people that haven't seen it. Like, I don't even want to do spoilers on this because this movie is wild. Okay. But his acting, he goes from being this shy, timid, scared of everything man at the beginning of the movie. And when I tell you this man glows up in this movie, he ends such a fucking badass. Amazing acting. So just do yourself a favor, prepare to be a little scared because it stuck with me for a few days. I was laying in bed and I was like, what is that noise? What is that? But it's very, very good. It's so good. I watched it on Amazon Prime.
Okay. Was it included with Prime?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to add it to my list of things to watch. Isn't it fascinating? You start to watch people's filmography and then you start to learn all about these other roles that they've done. You watch it with the intention of learning about the person we're doing this episode on, but then you develop this, you know, obviously he's not the main character in every single one, but then you develop this amazing passion and excitement for everybody else in the movie and the story itself and the work that goes into it, the cinematography. I recently watched The Edge of Love with Sienna Miller and Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley.
That's really good. I tell you what, it takes place in the 1940s. Keira Knightley is this singer, and she gets back in touch with this old friend of hers, a guy that she lost her virginity to. He's a poet, and so he's this romantic. He's this very dramatic person. He's constantly talking, and you know, she's like completely enamored by him. But then she meets his wife, who is played by Sienna Miller. Long story short, they have this very interesting dynamic, very open-minded dynamic for when the movie takes place. It's a very sort of ahead of its time type of relationship. They create this friendship with Keira Knightley's character. I think she also moves in with him. Like they all three of them end up living together. It's almost like a throuple situation. And Sienna Miller's character, Keira Knightley's character, become best friends. But there's still a certain amount of jealousy from Sienna Miller, plays Dylan's wife. Then you see his Cillian Cillian Murphy's character come out, and he plays William Killick, Captain Killick. I think you know how like in the 1940s, the idea of the perfect husband was a captain or somebody with like high standing in the military, because that's what, you know, back then determined who was a good match for you, right? A hero, so to speak. And so he played this captain who was very charming and stoic, and he won over Keira Knightley, but also Keira Knightley was still in love with this poet. It's a very romantic movie. It's a drama. He goes away to war. He comes back and he has PTSD. And the way the movie ends is just, you don't know if Keira Knightley is going to kind of fall back in love with her husband, because they end up getting married and having a baby. You don't know if she's going to fall back in love with her husband or not. So it's a great movie. It's a drama, which I don't normally always appreciate dramas, but my ADHD just goes in a million different directions during the movie. But this managed to maintain my attention for quite a bit of time. So it's like a romantic drama. I really liked it. I definitely encourage you guys to watch it.
I love a good romantic drama. Like, I love it, especially in that era. Oh, I love good period pieces.
Yeah, no, he did wonderfully. I don't know, you kind of find yourself rooting a lot more for their relationship, even though at the beginning you see her with the poet and you're like, oh my God, that's so romantic. And then you see the reality of what it's like to, you know, be married to a poet who's like cheating on his wife all the time because he wants to feel inspired to write something. And you have this toxicity in that relationship that really kind of starts to show throughout the movie. It's really cool to see how Keira Knightley kind of falls out of love with the two of them and starts to have more of an appreciation for her husband, aka Cillian Murphy's character. So great movie, great movie. It's called
Added to the bank.
Yeah, definitely. But he was in the second A Quiet Place. He was in A Quiet Place Part 2. So he's, you know, 2 degrees away from Joseph. Shannon, did you watch A Quiet Place 2? No?
I will. I will.
It's you got to watch the first and the second one because they're so good.
So he plays this family friend by the name of Emmett. And they met up at the beginning of the movie at the baseball game before everything kind of broke out. And you can tell that it wasn't a close acquaintance, family friend, but they knew of each other. They first name basis. They lived close to each other. So they kind of established that relationship before these aliens invade the world.
Right.
So after that scene happens, it cuts to exactly where the first Quiet Place movie ended. Nothing is the same at their farm. They need to go. Yeah. So they head towards another tall building where another flame has always been lit, letting them know that someone else is there. And so they are making this trek. It's Emily Blunt's character, the baby, the daughter, and the son. And they're going across this railroad track, and this scene, the son steps on a bear trap.
Oh, I think I remember, seeing clips of that.
Yikes. And he is screaming bloody murder. They get away. Cillian Murphy is within this warehouse, catches Emily and is like, shh, and gets them into this like underground bunker. Okay. Gets them away from these aliens. He looks completely different than what he did, because I think this movie is now 400 and something days after day one.
Yeah.
He is completely just ragged, overgrown beard, dirty. He's clearly been alone for a very long time, and he's not the same man that they knew of before all of this happened. And so there's this scene in particular where Emily Blunt's character asks him, she goes, when you saw the candle lit, like the flame lit, did you know it was him? And he said, yes. He goes, but you never came to think to help? And he goes, at this point where we're at, the people out there are too messed up for me to even care, because it's been so long in this apocalypse type world that your neighbors and your friends and your family aren't the same people that we were over 400 days ago. He goes, I knew it was Lee, but I didn't care to go check in on you guys because I didn't know if it was a trap.
Yeah. That's such a valid point, you know?
But you could see, and she picked up on it, there was something that had happened that got him to that point of not caring anymore and only solely caring about himself. So he is completely just shut down, unemotional, and he's like, listen, I'll give you guys a place to stay tonight, but you have to go in the morning. Yeah, and then eventually the daughter figures out, well, there's this signal coming from across the island. I can make it there in a day. And she takes off in the middle of the night without telling anybody where she's going. They get up in the morning and she's like, you have to go find my daughter. You know that if Lee was right here, he would say she was worth it. And then the rest of the movie is just their journey together. He goes and finds her and protects her through the whole rest of the movie. But he doesn't die at the end. It just ends. Now they're making this new Quiet Place movie. What if he's in there?
But it's a prequel, right? It's a day one thing. So are we going to see the way his kids die and his wife survives?
I made a mental note that at the beginning of A Quiet Place, they made sure to have a black screen with the text day one really big on the screen.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing. I love a good alien movie though. And he did a very good job. He was a very strong, assertive presence in that movie.
Yeah.
Shannon, so you've watched The Delinquent season literally just now.
Yeah.
And I have to know, don't spoil it because I want to watch it now, but you had a pretty emotional response to this movie. What was his character like? Tell me the premise of it.
There's two women that are friends, and the movie starts that they're at just like a get together with their husbands. It's Danielle and Yvonne. Danielle plays.
I was actually in this movie.
Yes. Danielle.
Yvonne is my mom's name. So I saw him say Yvonne and I was like, oh my God.
Danielle plays Cillian's wife, and Yvonne is, the guy who plays the priest in Fleabag. He is in it. He plays the other husband. Yes. So the other husband, his name is Chris. He has an outburst because he's kind of upset about the way Yvonne is phrasing some things that she's saying. He's got a lot of internalized things going on. And at one point, he ends up like hitting Yvonne one night. And so she ends up going over to Danielle and Cillian's house. Cillian plays Jim. Jim and Yvonne start to adapt feelings and start having an affair.
Spicy.
I will stop it there. I just got emotional at the end because there's other things that happened that just makes you feel things, really, because you know that cheating is wrong, but you feel things with them that just, I don't know, it's a lot of emotions. So
do you find that his performance and her performance is so captivating that you find yourself forgiving them and almost rooting for them? Is that kind of what you were talking about? Because it's from their perspective?
Kind of, in a way. And Cillian's character gets very confused and pushed around with his feelings a bit as well. Like I said, I don't want to spoil anything, but that's kind of how I took it with the movie, is that later on more things happened, and then he gets accused of acting a certain way when I think he was just following his feelings and getting punished for following those feelings. So, but I'll let you guys form your own opinion. So
Ooh, I love it.
Breakfast on Pluto.
Oh, tell me everything, because I want to see this so bad.
I didn't even know he played a trans character in this movie. This is so interesting. Tell me about it.
So it is based in the 70s, so it is kind of a period piece.
Ooh.
So think about someone that, what I really like that's interesting is that he plays Patrick, but he goes by Kitten. And Kitten is very headstrong with how she feels. She was dropped off at a church as a baby and was given to an unloving foster mother. And at one point, he submits an assignment to school about where he could get a sex change. She could get a sex change. They were not happy with that, and so she ran away. First partied with a band for a while, and then worked with a magician, just very like trying to find her place in the world, right? The movie
kind of like a nomad lifestyle for a bit.
Yes.
Nice.
And at the same time, she's still trying to find her family, like her mother. Despite how there's an underlying sadness of everything that you would feel as like feeling these feelings inside, putting on makeup as a little boy, wanting to be something that you're not, and your family not accepting you. There is this overall positive like air to Kitten that seems very rare. I am this person and I'm going to continue to be this person. It's a lot of people that either take advantage of her or use her, but I don't know. Kitten doesn't seem to lose her spirit ever. So I thought that was very interesting. I was trying to read the movie again thinking if there was something that I was missing with the tone of the movie, but that's literally how the movie felt for me.
Yeah.
I think it's worth seeing. And Cillian is Irish, so he's doing an Irish accent, but my name's Kitten and I'm, he talks in that higher pitched voice, so feels more feminine.
It's so cool to see because I'm looking at pictures of him as Kitten, and those feminine features that he has are so, they really help a lot in this role. I mean, he looks so beautiful as Kitten, and she just looks like a rock star. I'm looking at this picture of like a snakeskin coat with like fur around the neckline and this very curly hair, and you see like she's got the Cillian Murphy's full lips and high cheekbones. Why does his nose look like he has a nose job? I mean, I'm looking at his nose right now and I'm like, God, that is a perfect nose.
Oh, so pretty.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he's got that perfect upturned little nose for sure. Looks like they did the eyebrows too. They waxed the eyebrows to be quite feminine in this picture too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that might have been why he was chosen, because he walks this fine line
of
androgyny in a way where, he could pull off this feminine type look. Because I'm sure nowadays it would be a little controversial for a cis man to play someone trans. It does consistently happen. I find that interesting. Back then, you could get away with that. I don't know, we could get away with that now. You know what I mean? Normally someone in the LGBT or trans community would probably play somebody like that. But I think despite that, Cillian did a great job.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think we should end with By Order of the Peaky Blinders.
I watched the series in 2016. I binged the first 3 seasons. They put this show out on BBC.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever something goes out on BBC, it's mostly because there isn't like a marketing budget. It's all word of mouth. Eventually, the show got so big that Netflix took it over and then it just took off. But the show is so good.
Yes.
It's so good. It's so addicting. And he plays this character. I feel like you can find the words about him in this role much better than I can.
Yeah. First off, took me a long time to start it. I started it after the last season of Stranger Things because I was looking for something new to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Before we even knew that we were going to be doing different female gaze characters, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was already drawn to it because I love a good period piece, and this is based out of the 1900s. So it's based out of Birmingham, and this is like the rough and tumble, every man for themselves type of era. And it's this family led by the oldest brother, which is Cillian Murphy's character, Thomas Shelby. And they are this like mafia group, razor blades in the back of their caps, and he is like the enforcer of laws, but also like he doesn't care, like he has no fucks. Like he does
but
not
it's amazing because they almost still live by this code of honor within who they are in their family. It's also a very forward thinking movie because there's a matriarch in this played by Helen McCrory, RIP, who is absolutely fucking incredible in this show. She is insane. But Thomas Shelby, and I think maybe it has something to do with the fact that it's his longest recurring role, but you can tell in this role that he has like almost, I want to say like a bond. Obviously you create a bond with this character that you've been playing for 8 years, but you can also almost tell that he has a lot in common with the personality traits that he brings to Thomas Shelby. Because I mean, there is a certain like quiet stoicism about him in this role. And I mean, the way he just plays this.
Everything that he does, there's a reason for why he's doing something. Everything is very methodical. Everything is very thought out. He is incredibly intelligent. He always has this very hard on the outside, badass energy that he carries around with him at any given moment, which is why he has so much fear based around himself and his family. Like this town is terrified of this family. But then there's also this completely separate side of Thomas Shelby when he meets Grace, who is the barmaid that came in to sing to the patrons of the bar that he has opened with his family. And you get to start seeing this whole other side of Thomas. He breaks down and is like, you see me and I see you. It's a completely different version of what he portrays himself and his family. He's kind of like an onion. I feel I'm only like midway through season 3, and I've only like seen him shed the first few layers layers of his personality.
Anytime it gets romantic with Tommy, it's almost like he's afraid to fully put it out there, you know?
Yep.
And I hate to put it this way. I know some people are going to listen to this and roll their eyes, but this is what I mean when it comes to like the female gaze, because there is so many things that are so wrong with his character, but then it's the fact that he slowly lets you peek into his soul, you know, as this very conflicted leader in this mafia family. It's amazing. It really is fun to watch. He is completely.
I don't think anybody else could play this character.
No, he is top. It's like, you know
he's
what?
actually Thomas Shelby.
Yeah, it's like nobody else in the world will ever play Iron Man.
Exactly.
Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, you know?
I had read that he has trouble separating Thomas Shelby from him after filming sometimes. Like he's like, yeah, sometimes I can be it said expletive, but I think it said asshole. Sometimes I can be an asshole. You can ask my wife. Like, I think he brings it home sometimes without intentionally meaning to.
Just blame it on Tommy.
Yeah.
Just blame it on Tommy. Yeah. Sorry, honey. I had a rough day at work today. You're just going to have to deal with your getting, okay?
Yeah.
It's really amazing to watch because you sit there and you're like, I fucking love you, dude.
Well, and the soundtrack in this show is amazing as well. Yeah. It's not your typical like 1900s music. It's very hip and hard, and I'm like, this is a banger. Yeah. Oh, I really enjoyed watching a lot of his work because I watched some of his newer stuff, and then I'm watching Peaky Blinders, and you can see his acting career. Just he hit a point, and then it was just like he is a phenomenal actor.
I'm looking at pictures of him in the movie Peacock right now with Susan Sarandon. Let me just pull these pictures up because I was like, who the fuck is this? Like, they put contacts in him. At one point I thought it was Ewan McGregor. This is weird. The main character in this movie, it's with Elliot Page and Susan Sarandon, but look at his character.
Hello?
Sir, who are you?
I love that.
And he's got contacts in. I mean, is it based on a true story? Is that why they changed his appearance so much? Hold on. Peacock. A train accident in rural Nebraska gradually unveils a mystery involving the town's bank clerk, who I'm assuming is Cillian. Other movies we haven't seen that I'm really interested in watching: In the Heart of the Sea, which is the story of Moby Dick, and it is with the very handsome, traditionally handsome Chris Hemsworth. Transcendence with Johnny Depp. And then Shannon mentioned earlier that he was in a short animated film called Overcoat.
I want to see it. I love a good short.
Yeah, because it's very easy to get get in and get out. We went through a lot of his stuff. He's not on social media. I wish we could say go check out his social media, but believe you me, there are plenty of edits of this man on TikTok to watch.
Yes.
And if you want to see him say nothing during interviews, there's also a lot to see there where he's just sitting and watching people.
The disappointed meme.
The disappointed meme. Lots of one-liners. Oh my God, one thing we didn't touch on. Google says, and this isn't important, but I kind of joked about it. Google says he's 5'10", because Danielle mentioned that he looks so tall in some of these movies, and I think that it's because he's got this slim figure that he looks very taller. I call it the Penn Badgley effect. I thought Penn Badgley was like 6'3", 6'2". Turns out Penn Badgley is 5'8". Not very tall. But then I knew Cillian Murphy wasn't very tall because sometimes I'll just watch movies and I'll be like, I wonder how tall he is. And it's amazing the way filmography works because you can place people in certain areas where they look taller. But Google says he's 5'10". IMDb says he's 5'7" and 3/4.
What is this, Harry Potter 3/4? Just round it up or just leave it? Come on.
Like, that's such a massive gap in height. Who do you believe?
Maybe earlier in his career, they kind of fibbed a little to get him more roles, and then now it just doesn't matter because he's proved his worth.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
And you can always do like slips in the shoes. I call the Robert Downey wedges, you know? So he looks taller.
At one point, can I announce maybe something he's going to be in very soon, upcoming?
Yeah,
I just
please.
found an article. He's confirmed to star as J. Robert Oppenheimer, who is a scientist, and it says film will bow in July of 2023.
Yeah, the nuclear bomb. He's like the person. Isn't that who invented the nuclear?
Look at the resemblance there. I'm trying to focus. Sorry, but
can I also say that his love interest, or like, I'm not sure what their connection is, wife, girlfriend, significant other, do you know who plays her?
No.
Florence Pugh.
No.
Yes.
What a segue.
I love it.
the announcement now when we're here?
Sure. Yes, let's do
What
it.
do you think?
I think we should.
When we made the decision to jump from only talking about Joseph into other people that fall into the female gaze category, we did not want to limit it to just being about men. I can certainly tell you that myself, I have a massive crush on this person.
Oh my God, same.
And so with that, our next person that we're going to be talking about is Florence motherfucking Pugh.
Flo.
I mean, I don't even have words here. She is an incredible actress, but I can't wait, especially knowing now that she's in this upcoming movie with Cillian Murphy.
That Cillian Murphy movie comes out on my birthday.
When?
On my birthday.
On your birthday?
Mhm.
When's your birthday again?
July 21st.
Oh.
Happy birthday to you.
I'll be 31.
Listen, thank you for sticking it out and going through all of this with us. We're so excited that we got to do this on Cillian Murphy. What a great actor, person. He's so humble. He's got this like air about him that I could almost compare to like Keanu Reeves, this very humble, quiet shyness about him. And so I've really enjoyed watching him and learning more about him and talking about him with you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Shannon, do you want to go through your socials?
Sure. My Instagram is Starry Eyes, StarryYeyes, and my TikTok is What's Up Shannon. Come say what's up. I realized I didn't say that last podcast, so I'm saying it now.
I am Laura Vanessa, Laura with an H at the end, Vanessa with an H at the end, both on TikTok and Instagram.
Hi, hello. Danielle here. My Instagram is Miss Danielle, MissDanielle. My TikTok is DYoung, DEEE Young. And then if you want to check out our socials for the podcast, we are still trying to grow them and keep building those networks. So our TikTok is at the Quinn Podcast, and then the Twitter and Instagram are at the Quinn Pod. So come check us out, give us a follow, interact with us. We love hanging out with you guys and talking to you guys. So definitely stop by and say hello.
And come back next week for Florence Pugh's episode.
Yay! Go Chiefs!
Oh, gosh.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.